Should aiding or abetting a homeless camp be illegal? It might soon be a reality in Fremont, California, just a little bit north of San Jose there, south of Oakland. Aiding, abetting, illegal, punishable by jail time. Oof. Let's get into it. Here we go. Fremont, California. Got to check this one out. This is like a 5-year-old video. This is literally from 5 years ago. But this exemplifies what we're battling, right? Here we go.
This evening, we're learning the homeless crisis in the Bay Area has reached new heights, literally. In Alameda County, some transients are now living in trees. Only on 5, KPX5's Kit Doe is live in Fremont, where he climbed up and went inside these treetop shelters. Kit?
Kit Doe. Doing
yeah,
work.
Passing by these things, if you did not know to look up, you probably wouldn't even notice that they were here. But neighbors tell us that this all started right around February when one of these tree houses went up, and then a couple months later, now we're up to 5 or 6 of them. Hello! Here in Fremont, ingenuity and desperation have brought us to this. Half a dozen tree houses nestled high up in the branches of a row of eucalyptus trees in an industrial park, where they have been for months. Getting into the structures is no simple task. Some of them are 3 stories high. This one has a makeshift ladder, albeit with rungs sparsely attached. Climbing up is a lot like solving a puzzle. Once inside, you get a better look at the craftsmanship. Whoever did it likely has some experience at construction and access to power drills, cross beams, support beams underneath, and support straps above. Trash? There's a spot for that too. Neighbors tell us they use scrap wood from nearby discarded pallets. The result is remarkable. So I'm inside the tree house now. It is probably about 8 feet by about 7 feet. It's sturdy until you start to shake it a little bit, and it does wobble, but
you think?
It does feel pretty sturdy at first. It's not the most glorious place to live, but I gotta say, it's probably better than sleeping on the street. This man, who went by the name of Mark, said he did not live here, but was just here admiring the construction. Would you consider now living in a tree? Seeing how it's done?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, actually.
Oh, yeah.
The last time we documented homeless people living in trees was in 2017. Officers were called out, who then escorted the squatters down from the limbs, but they were nowhere near as high as the ones in Fremont today. But it looks like they won't be here for long. Crews have spent the past few days trimming and cutting off the lower limbs, and they are closing in.
I think it's actually what people would benefit from if we have the right knowledge of trees and whatnot.
I'm sorry, what? What are you talking about? All right, yeah, let's move on. Here we go. Look at this guy. This guy's going to have some wisdom right here. I got a feeling.
I was born and raised not too far from here. I'm 70 years old, so I'm old. I'm disabled.
Packy Adams lives in his car with his dog Zeus.
This is my best friend, companion, everything.
Adams has been unhoused for the past 3 years.
Most of the day, I go out and I recycle aluminum or cans or whatever to make money so we can eat.
Adams was born and raised in Fremont. He parks in city parking lots overnight, where he says he leaves no trace behind.
No mess, no complaints, no cops.
At Irvington Park, a row of RVs and cars are parked inside a neighborhood. Sheila Mani said they started popping up 6 months ago.
The city just, I think, moved or shifted the problem from one place to another. It's been bouncing around.
Mani lives across the street. She said the noise and the fumes of the generators have had a big impact on her family's quality of life.
I am like a prisoner inside my own home. I cannot open the windows of my rooms because of the toxic fumes from the generators that are running in the RVs. It is extremely hot. They need to have the generators on. They need to have a life too. But how does their problem become our problem?
On Tuesday, Fremont City Council members were considering adopting a 5-year strategic plan to address homelessness. The city says the largest population of homeless folks in Fremont are those staying in vehicles.
As we move through the year, it's no secret that cyber criminals are online and lurking, ready to pounce on unsuspecting Americans. I read news stories of innocent people being taken advantage of all the time. And that's why protecting your online privacy isn't just smart, it's necessary. And that's where Surfshark VPN comes in. Surfshark gives you the tools to shield your devices, block invasive ads, and encrypt your internet activity, keeping the bad guys out of your business. Think of a VPN as your online security system, whether you're browsing at home, using public Wi-Fi, or handling sensitive information. Surfshark wraps your data in a secure private tunnel. It's like having a digital wall around your home, keeping hackers and snoopers locked out. Let's face it, privacy isn't just about security, it's about freedom. With Surfshark, you can access content from around the world without censorship and without big tech tracking your every move. Right now, Surfshark is offering an exclusive deal for News for Reasonable People listeners. Go to surfshark.com/reasonable for 4 extra months free. Don't wait. Protect your data, defend your privacy, and browse with confidence. The East Bay City of Fremont is set to vote on a new ordinance that would make it illegal to camp on any street or sidewalk in any park or on any other public property. But in an apparent California first, El Primero here, it also would make anyone causing, permitting, aiding, abetting, or concealing an illegal encampment guilty of a misdemeanor and possibly subject to a $1,000 fine and 6 months in jail. Aiding and abetting a homeless encampment. You mean like mutual aid? Can we just go round them up all right now and throw them in jail? Hey, you need to pay a $1,000 fine and 6 months in jail. All of you, all mutual aid. You guys all got to pay and you got to go to jail. Yeah. Cavity searches included. Gonna happen. No. Is that gonna happen? No. It's California, right? That unusual prohibition, the latest in a series of crackdowns by communities following a Supreme Court decision last summer, has alarmed activists who worry it could be used against aid workers who provide services to people living in encampments. Exactly right. Hey, yeah, maybe you're part of the problem. Maybe, remember when we heard in that last video, for every person exiting homelessness, 2 more are coming in. You know where that's not happening? Yeah, big red Republican cities where they don't have all of these resources for their homeless. They basically have a limited number of beds, and if you're out of luck, then you end up in prison. You end up in jail. You know what I mean? Or you end up with a ride to some other community who does this kind of nonsense. That's how it works. So it's alarmed activists who worry it could be used against aid workers who provide services to people living in encampments, while Fremont Mayor Raj Sawan told Cal Matters that police won't target outreach workers handing out food and clothing. The ordinance doesn't specify what qualifies as aiding, abetting, or concealing. Oof. I mean, I think anything helping these folks out, could be construed as aiding, abetting, or concealing. So I think you need to have some pretty specific parameters of what kind of behavior is okay, what kind of actions are okay. Because if they're not, well then, $1,000 fine, 6 months in jail, cavity searches included. Experts say the city would enforce the same ordinance against ordinary citizens in contact with what the ordinance defines as an illegal homeless encampment. Is this going anywhere? No. This is a desperate try-for on the part of a city in California who is pushing back against all of the ridiculousness that California in general has just broad stamped. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. And then you wonder how you end up with over half of the country's homeless population in California. Weird. Cause and effect there. Yeah, we provide all these resources. We spend billions and billions and billions of dollars on homelessness. California does. $24 billion. Don't really know where it went. $24 billion spent on homelessness. And they wonder why the numbers keep getting bigger. What if you didn't spend that? What if you cut that funding to zero? What do you think would happen? Yeah, those folks would go somewhere else, wouldn't they? Weird. Maybe they'd actually call their families and go, man, I am out of luck here. I need to square something away. I need to get going on a different path because it's getting hard out here. Nobody's giving me a blanket. Nobody's giving me a tent. Nobody's giving me food. Nobody's giving me, free dental. Nobody's giving me free clothes. Good Lord, it's kind of rough out here. That's what would happen. but build it and they will come. And that is exactly what's happened. Vancouver, BC, Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon, LA, San Francisco, West Coast, Best Coast, right? West Coast, Best Coast. Yeah. Fremont's proposed ordinance, which passed an initial city council vote 4-2, set for a final vote on February 11th, is part of a recent statewide trend towards more punitive anti-homelessness measures because they can't work out what else to do. And the problem with this is that you can put all the laws in place that you want, but at the end of the day, you are dealing with human beings and you can't sweep them under the rug. And so many of these folks have massive psychotic issues. They've got mental issues that they are trying to deal with by self-medicating with the plethora of drugs that are on the streets, super cheap now. Fentanyl being the primary one now. It used to be, heroin? Good Lord, you might die. Now, you do a line of blow and you could die because they're cutting out with fentanyl as well, right? I mean, that's just the reality. Doing any drugs in 2025, well, you run your own risk. Last June, the U.S. Supreme Court in Grants Pass versus Johnson ruled that cities can ban camping on all public property, even if they have no shelter beds available. That was a huge court case. And you know what? I don't think they needed that court case to do what they're doing. Any of these cities putting these misdemeanor type things in place against homelessness. They didn't really need to wait for this court case, but it really gave them the green light. And when the green light happened, boom, now they're doing it. So they're trying to come up with something. They're trying to do a little bit of pushback, but you've already got the homeless campers in your community. You can't just sweep them out because where are they going to go? You're going to give them a ride to Seattle? You're going to give them a ride to Portland? Maybe, right? But how many does California have? 170,000, something like that. It's some just incredible number. Is that right? 187,000 people experiencing homelessness in California. That's according to the January 2024. That's the PIT count. So, 187, almost 200,000 homeless people. Without getting those folks some extreme detox and then, just basic 12-step programs, whatever it is to keep them clean, whatever it is, or getting them the mental help that they need from the standpoint if they got some real issues that they can't, they're basically insane. They shouldn't be running around on the streets, living in a tent, having people help them. That's not where they belong. They belong in an institution somewhere. But we're not in the habit of voluntarily committing these folks to basically anything. That's why Seattle has got Steve Irwin, who has been in and out of jail 5 times, arrested 5 times, built 5 different sets of cabins in Dr. Jose Rizal Park, thinks that he's mining, thinks that he's, logging, and he's going to come up with some gold and he's going to come up with some diamonds. I mean, we've talked about that, tons of times. That ain't happening, right? Instead, you got people that, like Steve Irwin, who are mentally psychotic from the large amounts of, drugs that they've done, that they've tried to self-medicate on. That didn't work out. But because we've got these big blue Democrat-run cities that basically say drugs are okay, mental illness okay, doing all this stuff out in public, it's okay. Now there's this pushback. Oh, hey, we've got that Supreme Court ruling now. I guess we can go after the homeless. But the problem's already expanded too far, and it's too great. And without involuntarily committing people to treatment or to mental health care facilities, whatever that looks like, or a combination of those two, or incarcerating them, unless you're willing to go into any of those avenues, all of this stuff is just a try-for that's not really going to help. Because at the end of the day, you still got more people coming to California because it's warm and, build it and they will come. Well, they're coming. It's literally they're coming. The legal definition of aiding and abetting is far-reaching and comply to anyone who knowingly helps facilitate a crime. Crime being homelessness in a public area. That means it'll be up to Fremont police to decide whether an individual outreach worker at a camp should be cited or arrested. You can't make it a cop's. It's got to be better defined than that. This can't be a cop's decision. Cops already have to make so many ridiculous decisions, split-second decisions, and the rest of their career and the rest of their life will depend on it. Meanwhile, you've got some judge and jury that takes weeks and weeks and weeks to analyze that split-second decision and go, no, look at that guy. He's wrong. Oh, that cop is wrong. These cops don't get that time period. They don't get that, boom, done. You had to make a call and you went with it. They don't get that. So asking police, hey, are you going to arrest that guy for aiding and abetting a homeless encampment? Probably not. But it's all that they can come up with. It's all that they can do at this point. An attorney who serves as executive director and legal counsel for Berkeley nonprofit Where Will We Go is who basically stated that Henson and other experts interviewed by Cal Matters had never before come across an aiding and abetting clause in a California ordinance regulating or banning homeless encampments. Well, not until now. Fremont, California, doing the Lord's work. I think a lot of attorneys who assist and defend the unhoused are watching this. No one's seen this. Got to figure out some way to make the two compatible. Society, homeless folks, you got to come up with a game plan, because what you've got going on in big blue cities is going to cause population to continue exiting, going to states like Texas and Florida, where they don't have these kind of policies that just basically allow whatever to go on. Now, you've got some massive homelessness in Texas and Florida as well. But what you've got is political will to at least address it. And hey, you need to be in that shelter. You just can't run around everywhere and do your thing. That's a no-go. Whereas in the big blue states, people are leaving because of the impacts of this kind of thing. And you're going to have situation like in the 2030 census, the House is going to gain between 12 and 13 seats because of a population shift. And this is one of those major, major issues that are getting worse and worse in big blue states. And they're not getting worse in the big red states because they handle it. So this is kind of one of those things. How do we handle this? What do we do? Arresting people for aiding and abetting, is that the answer? No, it's not. But it's one more tool that can push, Fremont in the right direction. Will it happen? I don't know. Who knows, right? I mean, it has to do a lot with politics and what the constituents have to say. Do you guys agree that we should arrest and lock up people helping the homeless people in encampments and public grounds? Well, you know what I mean? But this is where we sit. This is what's going on. This is what's happening. All right. That's it for me. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.